Hey, Truth Seekers, welcome back. Zach here. Last night, February 19th, 2016, there was a mixed martial arts competition. It was for former stars of the UFC. The headline event was Ken Shamrock versus Royce Gracie, who fought each other in UFC 1 and also UFC 5. Those fights were in 1993 and 1995. What I want to show in this video is how last night's fight was a tribute to their UFC 1 matchup, the first time they ever fought, November of 93. It also very well might have been a tribute to the recently deceased Kevin Randleman, former UFC fighter who passed away at age 44 on February 11th, which was Ken Shamrock's 52nd birthday. Royce Gracie recently had his 49th birthday. December 12th, Ken Shamrock just turned 52. So this was an old-timers fight, and it was another fight by the numbers. It ended in controversy at 2 minutes and 22 seconds after Gracie unintentionally kneed Ken Shamrock in the groin area, a low blow. The ref did not record it. The fight ended soon after, and something tells me it was all part of the script. So let me show you everything that's interesting. If you're new here, I talk about numerology and gematria and how what might seem arbitrary is actually the coding for how sports are scripted. And the reason this is so is because these practices of numerology and gematria, the practice of coding numbers into words, are important to the Freemasons and the Zionists, the same entities that control professional sports, entertainment, media, and so much more. If you're new to my channel, please check out my other work. To understand how valid this is, you have to appreciate all that I have shown about history, sports, and more. So anyhow, Kenneth Wayne Shamrock, a name with gematria of 89 and 98. 89 stands out. Ken Shamrock, the name he goes by, a name with gematria of 46 and 55. Remember these numbers 55 and 89. Talk about why in just a moment. In simple English gematria, the name Kenneth Wayne Shamrock sums to 233. The numbers 55, 89, and 233, which all correspond with his name, are all Fibonacci numbers. This is the Fibonacci number sequence. The way it works, first of all, if you're not familiar with these numbers, these are the numbers that we find in the spirals of nature, from our palm of our hands to a leaf print to the spiral of the galaxy. Anyhow, the way this number sequence is formed is by taking numbers, adding them together. 1 plus 1 is 2. 1 plus 2 is 3. 2 plus 3 is 5. 5 plus 3 is 8. 8 plus 5 is 13. 8 plus 13 is 21. You see what I'm doing? Adding the number before to create the next number. So this is the real sequence of Fibonacci numbers. Notice how 55, 89, and 233 are all Fibonacci numbers, which correspond with the name Ken Shamrock. The number 144 is a number that corresponds to Royce Gracie, who won UFC 1 in a minute 44, a lot like 144, and who also has a birthday of December 12th. 12 times 12 is 144, and 144 is the 12th Fibonacci number. The square root of 144 is 12. So these numbers all prevalent in the fight that went in the favor of Royce Gracie. From UFC 1, Royce Gracie defeated Gerard Gordeau, again in a minute 44. The semifinals that led up to that round, Royce Gracie defeated Ken Shamrock in 57 seconds. The other fight was won in 59 seconds. Talk about why that's interesting in just a second, but focus on the 57. Yesterday's fight between Gracie and Shamrock came on a date with 57 numerology, an important number in sports. When you write out 57 as a word, it has the same gematria as championship, Super Bowl. It's a number coded throughout history in sports champions, something I was talking about a lot this past football season when I was showing how the Super Bowl was rigged for the Broncos, which a lot of people said I was crazy when I said it back in October. Now the Super Bowl's been played, the Broncos have won, people have seen I'm not crazy. It's all scripted. Anyhow, the date of UFC 1 when these fights were fought was November 12th, 93, a date with 116 numerology, the number 911 upside down. Anyhow, I just noticed that the qualifying fights for the championship were 116 seconds on a date with 116 numerology. And I wonder if that's a coincidence. Probably not in light of everything else. So, Ken Shamrock and Royce Gracie, they rematched on April 7th, 1995. They first fought November 12th, 93. They had the rematch at UFC 5 exactly 511 days later. From November 12th, 93 to April 7th, 1995 is a span of 511 days. And the reason that stands out is because of this. Saturn is the keeper of time. Think about how UFC 1 was in 93. Their rematch came 511 days later. Both of these numbers correspond with Saturn. Saturn is the keeper of time. They rematched on April 7th, 95. 4/7. The word time itself has gematria 47. Saturn's the keeper of time. Do you see how this all comes together? In history, Bob Marley died on May 11th, and I bring that up because Bob Marley equals 93, dead on May 11th. Very suspicious. The name Bob is 19, the name Marley is 74. He started his solo career in 1974. 19 plus 74 is 93. Time in Jewish gematria also sums to 144. The number that's connected to Royce Gracie, who won last night's fight, the rematch that seemingly is synced up with UFC 1, the fight he also won. With regards to UFC 5, where they rematched, that fight finished in a draw. So in history, they've fought 3 times now, and Gracie has won 2, the other match a draw. Shamrock has never won. As for the possible tribute to Kevin Randleman, last night's fight lasted 2 minutes and 22 seconds or 142 seconds. Kevin Randleman was born August 10th, which is the 222nd day of the year. And Kevin Randleman just passed away on the 42nd day of the year, the same day as Ken Shamrock's birthday. When you write out 42 as a word, it has gematria of 142. He died at age 44, Kevin Randleman. When you write out 44 as a word, it sums to 144, the number connecting to Gracie. The date Kevin Randleman died, very suspicious, as well as the age. As I documented in the video I did on his death, he went to Ohio State where he was a collegiate wrestler. He had a record win streak of 42 wins. Died on the 42nd day of the year. Also, 42 is a number negatively stamped on black Americans, the most hateful word for black Americans. Nigger has a gematria of 42. The word kill has a gematria of 44. Dead at age 44 on the 42nd day of the year. Since this has happened, we've seen the passing of Antonin Scalia on the 44th day of the year, Lupercalia. If you haven't seen my videos on that, check it out. Very important. And if you haven't seen my death or my video on the death of Kevin Randleman, please also check that out. I talk about a lot more important information. I just want people to see that what's going on in these professional sports leagues, the rigging of the outcomes, as well as the rigging of the deaths of the people who participate in these leagues. Something that happens more often than you notice when you document it. If you go through all the videos I've done about celebrity deaths, sports-related deaths, you see how often this is happening. Just weeks ago, I did a video on the death of Dave Henderson, who died 57 days after the World Series. World Series equals 57. Remember I was telling you how this number is connected to championship 57? Dave Henderson died 57 days after the World Series at age 57. The name Henderson equals 57. He finished his career on the Royals, who won the World Series this past year. He also played in the World Series for the Red Sox against the Mets. You become aware of this knowledge, you see what's going on in this world. It is a sickness that needs to be exposed in the worst way. Sorry for you sports fans who enjoy this. If you can't handle the truth, just turn off the video, tune out reality, go back to enjoying your rig sports. I don't need to hear any negative comments. I get sick of all the trolls and ignorant people who mock this work. My work is beyond proven. I've called every sports championship nearly correct way before they happened in the past year. This work is way beyond coincidence at this point. If you choose to ignore it, that's on you. All right, until next time, Truth Seeker.